Everybody, Earl at thelogbook.com, back for more Voyages of Shelf Discovery. We are going to open some more specimens of the Hasbro Kenner Marvel Retro Legends. Marvel Legends Retro. I'm not sure which way it is. The packaging just says Marvel Legends. We've got here Magneto, sworn enemy of the X-Men. We have also the incredible, inedible Hulk. I mean, it's green lighting. You know, you should be able to see him very clearly. But we got the reflection. And we also have the somewhat battered specimen of the general retail release of Captain America. Cap was in that preview wave that was available through Hasbro Pulse at the end of 2020. If you recall, covering those. These are pretty easy to open. I appreciate that. Not having to untie anybody. Cap is a rare specimen indeed, in that he has an accessory. Most of these folks do not come with any kind of weapon. So, interesting thing, but what would Captain America be without his shield? It's got a handle on the back, which can be... You can put it on one of his hands very easily. So you have... you could... A little tricky trying to position it, I suppose. There, yep. But there's also a hole on his back that that this will not fit into. Okay, then why is there a hole on his back? Yeah, that does not fit on his back at all. So he has to carry this. The best way to do it, there we go, is to attach it to his wrist. Standard 5 points of articulation figure, and of course the real appeal, in addition to the figure, is that the figure is based on the vintage kind of Silver Age comic art, which also graces the backing cards, which, even if I have another specimen of Cap on the wall back here, I find it very difficult to even consider disposing of the backing cards. So there he is, ready for action. Not sure why he has a hole on his back. I thought perhaps that the shield would go back there, but it doesn't, because it has a two-pronged thing rather than a single peg. It almost seems to me like maybe the original plan was to have him have there be something on the shield that would fit into that hole. So let's open the Hulk. You don't open the Hulk. The Hulk gets unleashed. And what I absolutely love about the Hulk here is this is the short, squat Hulk. Before the MCU and TV decided that the Hulk, was just this gigantic thing compared to any of his fellow Avengers. This Hulk is very much the original formulation. He's not huge. Does he have... He does not have bicep swivels. So again, we're dealing with 5 points of articulation. Let's see if I can get a close-up here Very nice figure based on that vintage comic artwork. Love it. I love it. Always been a Hulk fan. Although we will discuss that. How much of a Hulk fan am I in just a moment. Now, lastly, we have Magneto from the X-Men. Well, he's not from the X-Men. He's not for the X-Men. He is very much against the X-Men. And, okay. This one is not opening willingly. Well, of course not. It's Magneto. He wants to stay where he is and remain in charge. Let's see. Okay, that's what it is. His cape goes through the slot in the back of this. So he's kind of secured. There we go. And his cape is just kind of this rubbery material. Again, a very, very good likeness based on the vintage comic artwork here. Certainly can't complain. And that preview wave had Cyclops in it. And we have other X-Men on the way, including a second online exclusive wave from Hasbro Pulse at the end of this year, which contains Wolverine and Phoenix from X-Men. I kind of question making Wolverine an exclusive. It's like, okay, really, arguably, that is the most high visibility character from the X-Men. And part of that is because of the prominence that the movies gave him. In the form of Hugh Jackman. Which, you know, if you're going to have any kind of Ackman, you should have a Hugh Jackman. But that kind of brings us nicely into some discussion of some thoughts I've had about, you know, how far am I sticking with these, Marvel retro figures? You know, am I going to try to get all of them? And I think with the announcements of the third and fourth waves, which are already out. The third and fourth waves are already out, and I'm way behind on covering these, and I apologize for that. But they start to get into areas that it's just like, okay, my hard-earned money may have to go elsewhere. Sorry, guys. Like I said, third wave brings us a general release of Cyclops, who is also part of that preview wave. But we also get the Invisible Woman from Fantastic Four. I'm very much looking forward to that one. Third wave also gives us Vision and Ant-Man. So it's kind of interesting that the Marvel Retro Legends are drawing very heavily on characters who have visibility in the MCU, but we are getting kind of the 70s comic art version of those characters. You also have Bullseye from the third wave, so we have a bad guy for Daredevil to fight. We got Daredevil in wave 2. Fourth wave gives us U.S. Agent, who is hinted at, of course, at the end of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, again, very, very much an MCU influence going on. Fourth wave also gives us Storm from X-Men and Silver Surfer. Now, there is a character that I've kind of wondered, where's his movie? Now, of course, I realize that he's kind of tied up with the Fantastic Four, and there's just kind of this constant reinvention of the Fantastic Four for film purposes. Like they can't arrive at a place where it's to their satisfaction. I kind of wish the MCU would get the Fantastic Four and we could just put it all to bed. I mean, it's kind of like it's kind of like Spider-Man at this point. You know, we're rebooting it every 6 years or so, not not waiting 10 or 20 years to reboot. Now, this is where I kind of feel like maybe I am at the point where I'm going to say, whoa, okay, I'm not getting every one of these. We're starting to get paint variants. So we have the Grey Hulk. And I do understand, the purpose of the Grey Hulk in the Hulk story. We also have the stealth armor version of Iron Man. Iron Man has already been released, of course. But I don't have the kind of space to hand over to a lot of variants on these guys. So I'm starting to see the point at which the Marvel Retro Legends is going to become a line that, okay, I'm going to wait for a character I'm really invested in. Like, I understand where U.S. Agent fits into the Captain America story in the comics. I'm not that attached to the character of U.S. Agent. I'm probably not going to get that figure. I'm probably not going to get Stealth Armor, Iron Man, or the Grey Hulk. I have a Hulk already. I'm very happy with my Hulk. I'm hulkingly happy. And it's going to become... this went from, fairly quickly, from a line that I was like, oh yes, I'm going to pick up every one of these, to something that's more like the Star Wars Vintage Collection, where they're going to get down to where maybe one character out of each wave interests me, one or two characters. And, even then I'm going to very carefully weigh it against my budget to see if I'm on board with these guys for the long haul. So, three more Marvel Retro Legends unleashed from their packaging, and they're delightful. I love them to bits. I'm going to need a bigger place and a bigger shelf before I really entertain the thought of, doing much more than, say, completing the X-Men or completing the Fantastic Four. So we will revisit this line again fairly soon and open some more of these characters because they're wonderful and they're a lot of fun. It's just that the line is expanding into areas that perhaps I can't necessarily afford to follow for much longer. So sad.